This is Spotlight Omaha. Spotlight Omaha is a local podcast that highlights local businesses and influential movers and shakers in the Omaha business community. Spotlight Omaha is brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing. Now, from the Pyramid Contractor Studios, the host of Spotlight Omaha, Jimmy Allen.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome inside the Spotlight Omaha podcast, where we take you around the city of Omaha, introduce you to local business owners, influential figures, and people who are making an impact on our community. We are brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing. If your company's not showing up at the top of Google searches, maybe you need help with search engine optimization, maybe your website's not converting to mobile, pixelfiremarketing.com is here to help with all of that. Check out pixelfiremarketing.com for more information today. Joining us inside the Pyramid Contractor Studios, Drew Petersen with On the Line Athletics. Drew, thanks for being here.
Thanks, Jimmy. Appreciate it.
Listen, anybody that's watching today knows this is right up my realm. We're talking about college and high school sports. We're talking about NIL.
Yes.
Tell people what On the Line Athletics is and how you're helping athletes.
Yeah, On the Line Athletics is it's local to Omaha, but in a nutshell, it's a platform for a bigger group of people to give towards the NIL process. And so what we've been able to do is base it off of your favorite athlete, your favorite team, and their performance. So I know we'll get into some more details.
For anybody that doesn't know what NIL is, it's name, image, and likeness, and it's a way for athletes who previously couldn't make money to make money. We talk about this on my radio show every single night. It's ever-changing. There's new legislation being put in place. It's not only benefiting college athletes now, it's benefiting high school athletes. Yeah. When we have states like Missouri and Georgia that are implementing, if you stay to your home state, you're going to get some extra money before you even turn 18. How are you guys at On the Line Athletics being able to keep your finger on the pulse of this thing that's essentially changing almost every hour?
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. And I think what we've been able to do is simplify it with the platform. So when we started, part of where we were going is, okay, let's plan on college athletics, and how do we focus on that? We work with UNO, Nebraska, and Creighton, and those were all big supporters of what we're trying to do. But then we started to say, well, this isn't just a pigeonhole into just NIL. This can be part of a bigger contribution towards those athletes and those teams. So really, at the end of the day, they can control where they want those funds to go. And so then when we start expanding into that, high school really made a lot of sense. And so we're starting to see that really come to life.
Yeah, I want to get to the high school stuff in a second, but I want to take a step back, because when you're talking about dealing with Marcus Blossom at Creighton or Adrian Dow at UNO or Troy Dannon at Nebraska, those are three pretty high-profile guys at three pretty high-profile, we'll call them businesses in the state of Nebraska, that have their hands in a lot of pots. What did building those relationships look like? You mentioned they were really receptive, but how did you get there?
Yeah, I think the athletic departments are so broad now. So those guys are pulled in 100 different ways every day. So we were really working with different individuals within each athletic department and how to grow that, and started presenting what that idea is. So really what it came to be was, here's a platform, here's an opportunity to expand with not just going to the same donors or the same ideas.
Great point.
What's a better way to cast a bigger net out to those fan bases? And a lot of it, obviously, with Nebraska, is there's some crossover with those fan bases.
Sure.
And so once we started to get some momentum with, okay, let's set it up with Nebraska. Then obviously it was Creighton, and then obviously we got a lot of traction with UNO. So everybody's been very supportive with it from their marketing standpoint and promoting it out to their fans. And to build those relationships, it really, you have to develop trust, and we've done that.
I want to talk about the platform itself. Yeah. Can you explain how it works? I mean, you can essentially do it sitting in the stands at Memorial Stadium at the Chi or Baxter Arena and everywhere in between.
Yeah, I think the easiest way to explain it is it's a pledge. And so there's different avenues with how you can support your team. One of the ways we originally set up was with Nebraska football and wins. So for every win, Jimmy, you're going to give $5 a win or $10 a win. And really, again, back to who we're promoting that to. It's those individuals that I want to contribute to Nebraska, but I also am not going to be that $10,000, $25,000 donor every year. And so how it works is just simply setting up that pledge. Each school has their individual way of saying, okay, whether it's wins, 3-point shots, free throws, touchdowns, sacks, however you want to pledge for the season, and then that denomination for the year.
Okay, so the money goes through.
Yep.
The university has my money. What happens next?
Yeah, it's a part of back to where that ever-changing environment is. Truly, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter to us.
Sure. And I want to give a pause real quick. So I guess I skipped a step. Does the money go to the university, or does it go to a foundation like the Bird Club? Yeah, 1890.
Right now, it's kind of both.
Okay.
And I think it's part of that ever-changing environment because we're projecting out, 4 or 5 years from now.
Sure.
We have
revenue sharing, the house settlement.
What does that look like? When we started, it was late May of last year is really when this had any structure to it, and we really developed. So it's been about a year, coming up on a year, that this has really existed for us. And last year at this time, that rev share wasn't really.
It was a theory.
It was a theory.
Yeah.
And now it's happening.
Yeah.
And so.
Scary for you?
No.
Okay.
For us, for the platform, I think it's another avenue for revenue for these departments to have.
Because I think a lot of people just said, okay, revenue sharing's here, NIL's gone. That's not the way it's going to be.
No.
At least as of right now.
There's two bubbles on how we see it is there's two bubbles. There's the NIL bubble, which you would say, Jimmy does such a good job. He's the the new recruit, and we want to give him X amount from this sponsor.
I need to turn on tips on Twitter.
There you go. There you go. And then you still have the rev sharing with the departments. And that's where I say it to us, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
We want to support the university. So if they decide that needs to go to the collective, that's fine.
So as of right now, it just goes directly to the university, no third party entity as of today, essentially.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Is that hard for you to try to navigate that water, or the university so informed and headed that it's going to them that we'll just the money's there and they can do with it what they want?
Yeah, I think where the difficulty is the message for the fans. Like how do they receive it? How do we educate them on what this is? Because there is so many moving parts and changes going on.
Is that the most commonly asked question? Where is my money going?
Yeah, I think it's true. What does that get me?
Sure.
And part of it where we're trying to just move that towards is you're supporting that team. So the beauty of our platform isn't just that generic pot that you're throwing it into. It's okay. I'm a defensive guy for football, and I want to give $10 a sack this year. Nebraska football. I want to do that. Or
McDonald's isn't the only one cashing in on
there
it.
You go.
Yeah.
There you go. Big Mac sack, and then like Creighton threes. Let it fly is the mantra. And
shout out to 5 Points Bank.
Yes. Another one. And so that's from a fan's perspective. If you want to participate, we've kind of coined that phrase of gamify your giving.
Sure.
And how do I get more involved with it? The gamification of it instead of just that blank amount at the start of the year.
I want to ask, because being in the sports world, this is just where my mind goes.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about prop bets and FanDuel and things like that. Is that kind of where the idea and the base model came from? Is people are betting on this, why not give them a for sure return on their money?
Yeah, it's a really fine line,
Sure.
Because
well, it's obviously not the same thing, but it's kind of the same premise.
Right. It's just we're very delicate with it, and I'll just transparent. Obviously, Nebraska,
sure,
it's not
legal.
Not legal.
Yeah.
So we don't. It's really not something that you would promote.
Right.
It's something that fans have the access to do it, specifically for Omaha, go across the river.
Right. A little difficult to do at Scotts Bluff.
Yeah. There you go. And so I think really the concept is not reinventing the wheel, right?
Sure.
There's always been pledges, from grade school and, pledge for.
Buy these Girl Scout cookies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So it does, but from a sports perspective, what we have found is maybe that's something that somebody would rather participate in doing rather than getting popcorn or cookie dough or buying, whatever that would be.
And we're catching up with Drew Petersen of On the Line Athletics here on the Spotlight Omaha podcast, brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing and Pyramid Contractors. We've seen the University of Tennessee put NIL QR codes on the back of their helmets. Central Florida under Gus Malzahn had social media hashtags on the back of their jerseys instead of their names, things like that. Is that something you would like to see maybe up on the scoreboard? Scan a QR code, donate here, or are you guys fine with just kind of being in the background? If people want to, like, is it a hard line? Because you got to advertise some. Obviously, John Bishop does a great job for you guys on our station promoting you guys, but you've also got to probably toe a fine line of like being out there too much or asking for too many pledges.
Yeah, that's a good point. Obviously, we'll take whatever promotion there is out there just to get more eyeballs. Like just like you said, John does such a great job with promoting it. On when he's on the radio and then off the radio. I know he talks about it a lot.
That's the last time we're gonna say anything nice about John Bishop on the show too.
Yeah. And then obviously Gary Sharp with UNO.
Yeah.
And we see Gary at all the games, and he's a great.
Oh, is he out in the community a lot? I didn't know.
Great proponent of us.
Sure.
So, so I think really what we're just trying to promote is just getting it more out there. Obviously, we'll take more eyeballs from that standpoint, but I think kind of back to the fans' perspective of educating them on what it is. Everybody's getting emails and text messages and communication to contribute more, donate more, whether it's, for a different fund or this coming in for NIL. And I think just from our standpoint, the more education we can provide of what we are, the better.
I don't remember if we mentioned this on air. We were talking about it before we hit the record button, but high schools come into this equation too.
Yeah.
You've got a junior high, two high schools that have been affiliated with On the Line Athletics. How difficult is it to navigate the business you're doing with high school versus the business you're doing in college, or is it just athletics and it's the same?
Yeah, right. It's still athletics at the end of the day. The two pools, high school versus college, they are separate entities. But like we were kind of talking about,
donations,
but 4 or 5 years from now, that's probably going to start meshing together at some point. And so we see it kind of as that's the future as far as what the next steps are. I think it's the biggest thing is it's an easy platform for people to participate in.
When we talk about dealing with minors versus adults, that's the difference in high school and college.
Yeah.
Is that, don't take this as an insult because I can't think. A lot of people look at that as kind of like dirty money. Like you don't want to get agents involved in high school. And a lot of people feel some type of way about NIL and at the college level too, because it's not traditional. And these were supposed to be non-pro athletes and the amateur model, etc. Is it as simple as this is the way of the world and we're going to try to be ahead of change? Do we want to try to keep some sort of tradition? Is that tough for you guys as a business to kind of navigate?
Yeah, I'll just keep hammering home that it's education on what it is.
Sure.
And so the platform itself is no different than...
Is that the biggest hurdle for you guys right now? Is just the educational part? Okay.
Yeah, I think we're just getting the message out of what it is. There's still a lot of traditionalists that look at and say, NIL, I want nothing to do with it.
Sure.
I don't believe in it. Well, whether you believe in it or not,
it's there.
It's here.
And it's not going away.
It's here. So with high school, it's not necessarily NIL, but every high school has some kind of fundraising.
We talked about booster clubs, folks. Yeah.
Booster clubs, fundraisings, and I mentioned the popcorn, the cookie dough, and all that. And the message that we've gotten is they're just kind of tired of the same old stuff.
Sure.
And if I could participate and say, okay, I'm going to sell as an athlete in high school, I'm going to go sell it to my parents, my grandparents, my aunt, my uncle, and my friends down the street and say,
Sure.
hey, can you sign up for $5 a win this year? We got a pretty good team, and we want you to support our team.
Right.
They're already doing that with the other fundraising tools. So we see that as with athletics going down that path, working with youth sports and youth sports organizations, there's already a contribution that has to happen. Everybody talks about the expenses of youth sports and high school sports now. And what is that?
It's not going down.
It's not going down. And so where does those funds continue to come from? And those fundraising efforts are still going to be there.
The pay per wins thing. I have a 2-part question for you here. The pay per wins thing is interesting to me because on shows like Blue Jay Overtime or Big Red Overreaction that we do on 1620 The Zone, anytime there's a loss, especially in Lincoln, there's I donate X amount of time and X amount of money, and we've had season tickets for so many years, and I want to start putting my money in other places because the results aren't there.
Yep.
It's been a conversation since roughly 2016 or so. Obviously, that changed a little bit last year, but there's always been that question, where is my return on investment coming from? And with your guys' model, it's only for the production that you're willing to pay for, correct?
Yes, yeah. So specifically with the wins category, it's a great avenue to say, I'll pay for a win. We did with the bowl game this year, we did a promotion to say, do you want to pay for a bowl win? Mm-hmm. And we got a lot of traction.
Nice problem to have.
Yes, yes. And so I think with that win category, it's great because the fan can say, I want to participate only if they win. Right? I'm good. I'm good.
I'll pay for winning. Most people will.
I will pay for winning. There's other categories. So from the school's perspective, it's not always great because they want to continue to raise funds with fans. But there's other categories available as well. So I mentioned, like the 3-point shots, and $3 a three, $1 a free throw, $1 a rebound,
and some people have it too, right?
And somebody there, we've had a big enough response to say, oh yeah, I want to participate with that.
It gives you something else to root for too, essentially, right?
Yep.
I want to talk about emotions. Sports garner emotions from people, reactions. Sometimes that gets people a little more excited. If somebody is saying, hey, I want to donate X amount of dollars at the beginning of the season for wins, but maybe I want to dial it back and listen over the last couple of days, I think everybody's realized the economy's a little unstable right now too. Yep. What does that look like if a pledge comes at the beginning of the season, they want to change it later?
Yeah. One of the biggest tools that we implemented right away was a max contribution.
Okay.
So one of the examples, when we started doing forecasting was, okay, well, let's look at for UNO hockey, let's maybe look at goals.
Sure.
And let's just throw, $5 a goal out there. And then it started to pile up of, oh my gosh,
scoring a lot.
If they start scoring a lot. So what we did was we implemented a max contribution.
Okay.
So at the beginning of the year, if you say, okay, I'm good for $200 this year. I'm good for $200 this year. Once we hit that number, then you're maxed out. Mm-hmm. You'll get a message in the platform to say, you've hit your max. Would you like to continue to contribute or not?
Sure. We got a message from Ed on LinkedIn. Ed wants to know, Creighton, Nebraska, and UNO is nice, but there are other schools like College of St. Mary's, Bellevue University, Dana around the state of Nebraska. Is On the Line's platform coming to those schools soon? And what does that conversation sound like?
Yeah, timing of everything is great. So, we're in the springtime, so spring sports are kind of already going off.
Sure.
But I think a lot of those is we would welcome any of those to continue to reach out. I think we'll continue to reach out proactively with them. But timing the next few months is going to be great for us as we continue to ramp up.
We're catching up with On the Line Athletics here. Drew Petersen is representing them today. They're helping local universities and high schools raise funds through different and unique methods. And that's what we're talking about here. This is obviously a business, though, right?
Yeah.
And how is On the Line Athletics benefiting from helping raise these funds?
Yeah, so our platform is able to set it up on a scale where there's obviously transaction fees. There's a platform for IT. There's the marketing behind all the emails and everything. So we'll continue to pump what we can into it. But as we kind of discussed, we're a local company. We started out working with UNO.
Sure.
We're Creighton fans,
Yeah.
Nebraska fans, so go to all three. So
Is that funding coming from the universities then? Is it a portion of the donations? How does that work?
so it'll come from the contribution. So
Okay.
part of that will come from the contribution, and then what we'll do is talked about whatever the university wants as far as
Sure.
the end result of that distribution.
When we're talking about a school like Nebraska, who one of 5 athletic departments in the entire country operating in the black from an athletic department standpoint right now, but they have the House settlement that just came through, kind of, and then they have the athletic department trying to restructure Memorial Stadium and all the builds going on there. Does it seem like a school that large, and obviously the largest athletic department in the state, has more demand from you guys, or is it pretty even keel across the board?
It's pretty even keel. I think obviously Nebraska's pool is going to be much bigger than like a Creighton or UNO, but also the resources are more down there. So the support for us has been awesome from all three, and really Nebraska is pretty unique. The state of Nebraska is unique because you have that crossover of the multiple schools where somebody,
and they're all kind of in their own little bubble too, right?
Everybody's in their own bubble. I try to compare it to other areas, like almost like a Milwaukee with Wisconsin and Marquette,
right?
Kind of deal. And
because you don't have like Nebraska State to worry about,
correct? Like and somebody mentioned like Kearney and UNK, and we will welcome that continued growth with any of those schools.
Why Nebraska? Why not expand out sooner? Why stay local?
I think the biggest thing for us is we want to make sure that it's operational and it continues to work.
Good point.
Selfishly, we're from Omaha, and so selfishly we've had those relationships and continue to promote kind of within. I think as we kind of mentioned, the next few months are going to be really kind of a crazy time for us.
Unique time for sure.
For growth and everybody. We received phone calls a lot from inquiries of what it is, how could it be implemented? Can we just use the platform and stay away from everything else? But it's pretty unique from that standpoint, and kind of like I mentioned, college is great, high school's growing even more.
Nebraska fans could be cynical to some degree.
Yeah.
I get a lot of tweets and emails that I shouldn't be talking about Nebraska football because I'm a Creighton guy. Get that a ton. Is there any pushback from people that are like, I want to make sure this money is going to Lincoln and not to Creighton, or this money is going to Creighton and not to it's things like that?
Yeah, it's we definitely, our push is for transparency. So if you're a Nebraska fan, when you get to our website and you're able to set up your profile, you're able to go through and see the drop downs of what you want to participate in.
Sure.
So the transparency of where that goes is very clear cut on exactly. So it doesn't all go into the same pool of everything from that standpoint. Each pocket is developed for the school to distribute out.
Very cool. Joe wanted to know what ways can we make donations and what form of payment do they accept? Venmo, Zelle, etc. Is that acceptable?
Yeah, we haven't gotten to any of the third party apps yet.
Mm-hmm.
Credit card right now it's a secure credit card. We work with First National Bank of Omaha as our.
Speaking of people that are affiliated with Creighton, Nebraska, and UNO.
Yes, yes, it was a natural fit for us, and they've been an awesome partner to work with, just with their relationships within the Midwest.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about other schools to continue to expand. I think they sponsor up to 12 schools as the premier partner.
Yep.
And so they've been awesome to work with introductions.
The good news is if you guys put a basketball court somewhere, they'll put their logo on it.
Yes, it is. Yes. And quickly finding out how big their reach is.
Mm-hmm.
And so, from the payment standpoint, it's credit card right now, and we'll continue to expand to other markets.
You're a Roncali guy.
Yeah.
Not affiliated with Roncali yet, though. Does growth look more in the college realm over the next 2 to 3 years, or more in the high school realm?
I think the ceiling for college is higher, But the realistic point is we don't know what that looks like.
Sure.
And so high school for us, we've really received a lot of good feedback. We've talked to Roncali. I think that'll be probably coming up here sooner than later.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. And the biggest thing with high school is it's just another avenue to promote their fundraising.
Yep.
So for us, what we can see is that's probably the bigger growth.
Sure.
College has a huge ceiling because of the fan bases, because of all the contributions. But to our point earlier,
There's fewer,
and there's a lot more people knocking on your door for money at the college level than at high school.
Yeah. This is gonna sound like a shot at Creighton. I don't mean it to come across that way. I was at a game, went up and made a purchase. They asked me if I wanted to round up to donate to the Bird Club.
Yeah.
The Bird Club sponsors the Roll Jays podcast, and we love them. But it seems like a little bit of a saturated market right now where people are, there's a lot of fundraising going on, a lot of things that need to get paid for. Is that pause for cause for you guys? Is that encouragement? Are you worried about oversaturating the fundraising market?
Yeah, I think, again, we've found a different avenue for people to participate in.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of mentioned, the performance of Nebraska, and if there's wins, some would rather participate in a win rather than a loss.
Yeah. Or round up on my corn dog.
Round up on the food, but then you're at the game and
Sure.
they lose by 20.
Yeah.
And you get frustrated with it. So obviously I think it's the next 6 months is going to be really interesting to see how this revenue sharing ramps up. Like you kind of mentioned, there's different avenues for people to participate in right now.
Sure.
Whether it's the collective, directly with the endowment or with the university, on the line right now, and then you still have NIL to pay players individually.
Right.
And so all of those groupings are coming to the same people, though.
That's a good point.
And so, Jimmy may give 5 emails from Creighton, Nebraska, and UNO to say, give to the team now.
Right.
And so for sure, there's definitely
It's an option.
An option out there at the college level.
We've covered a lot. Is there anything about online athletics today that we should let people know about that maybe we haven't mentioned?
No, I think we've had a great first year here. It's again unique to Omaha, and continuing to grow from that standpoint. And I think the biggest thing is just educating those contributors of what it is. You'll see a lot more influx of high school in the Omaha Metro coming in the next few months over the summer and going into the fall. And then obviously with college, we hope to continue to grow with the local colleges here in Nebraska.
Where's the website? Where can people find you?
Athleticsontheline.com. It's currently set up right now for you to set up your profile, and you'll be able to go in and select whatever team in whatever category that you want to participate in. Like we talked about, the spring sports are just starting. So if you're looking forward to football, we're going to be off by a few months. But
Sure.
Right now, that's how we're set up, athleticsontheline.com. We're going to be revamping the website here shortly to have it a little bit more user-friendly.
Yeah.
And a lot more to come.
Check out athleticsontheline.com today. Make a donation to your favorite university and possibly your favorite high school coming near you. Don't worry about buying popcorn anymore. You can make a donation right on the platform. That's Drew Petersen with On the Line Athletics. This has been the Spotlight Omaha podcast brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing and Pyramid Contractors. We'll see you on Monday. Thanks for joining. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. We'll see you on Monday.